Hi friends, today we continue talking about technologies forbidden for ordinary people. We've all got our eyes on the next phone, the next laptop, the next big tech thing, but what about the tech that's been right under our noses this whole time? Literally. What do you know about the heart of your car, its engine, and what it could have been if not for technology suppression strategies? Let's dive into the world of banned engines, suppressed innovations, and the stories behind them. From tweaked combustion engines to completely new ways of powering vehicles, we're going to explore the tech that they don't want you to know about. Buckle up, it's going to be a wild ride. First up, let's talk about the orbital internal combustion engine. Now this isn't some crazy new energy source, but it is a fascinating reimagining of the classic piston engine. Imagine this. Instead of your typical up and down piston movement, the orbital engine uses a spinning disc. Yeah, you heard that right, a spinning disc. This disc, called the orbital rotor, interacts with the engine's housing to create those expanding and contracting chambers you need for combustion. Less moving parts, potentially smoother operation, and maybe even better fuel efficiency. Sounds pretty good, right? But here's the thing. Despite its potential, the orbital engine hasn't really taken off. Why? Well, some say it's just too different, too complex to manufacture on a large scale. Others whisper about patents getting buried and big automakers not wanting to rock the boat. Whatever the reason, the orbital engine remains a tantalizing what-if in the world of engine technology. A reminder that even small tweaks to old designs can have a big impact. Next, let's talk about an engine that actually made it to market, the Mazda Skyactiv X. This engine is all about squeezing every last drop of efficiency out of the gasoline engine. And how do they do that? By borrowing a trick from diesel engines. You see, the Skyactiv X uses something called spark-controlled compression ignition, or SPCCI. It's a mouthful, I know, but stick with me. Essentially, it allows the engine to run on a super lean mixture of fuel and air, similar to a diesel engine. This lean burn means less fuel used and lower emissions. Plus, Mazda claims it gives you the best of both worlds, the responsiveness of a gasoline engine with the torque and efficiency of a diesel. Now, the Skyactiv X isn't a radical departure from traditional engines. It's more like an evolution, a refinement. But it shows that innovation isn't always about completely new ideas. Sometimes it's about cleverly combining existing ones. Let's switch gears now and talk about an engine that's as unique as it is controversial. The rotary engine, also known as the Wankel engine. This thing is a total departure from your typical piston cylinder setup. Instead, it uses a triangular rotor that spins inside an oval-shaped chamber. This design gives the rotary engine some serious advantages. It's smaller, lighter, and smoother than a comparable piston engine. Plus, it has this inherent coolness factor that's hard to deny, but it also has its drawbacks: higher emissions, lower fuel economy, and a reputation for being less durable. But here's where things get interesting. Did you know that the rotary engine actually received funding from the US Department of Defense back in the day? Yeah, the military saw potential in this unconventional engine, potentially for its compact size and power-to-weight ratio. So, why didn't the rotary engine take over the world? Well, the usual suspects pop up. Oil companies not loving the idea of efficient engines, technical challenges, and maybe even some good old-fashioned corporate sabotage. The truth, as always, is probably a mix of all these factors. Another engine design that promises better efficiency and lower emissions is the opposed piston engine. Now this one might sound a bit strange at first, but bear with me. Imagine two pistons sharing a single combustion chamber, facing each other. That's the basic idea behind the opposed piston engine. This configuration allows for more efficient combustion and reduces heat loss, leading to better fuel economy and lower emissions. In fact, some studies suggest that opposed piston engines can achieve up to 30% lower emissions compared to similar-sized conventional engines. Now you might be thinking, if this engine is so great, why aren't we all driving cars powered by them? Well, again, it comes down to a mix of factors. One challenge is that opposed piston engines can be more complex to manufacture. Plus, there's the inertia of the existing automotive industry, which is heavily invested in traditional engine technology. However, with growing concerns about climate change and the need for more sustainable transportation, the opposed piston engine might just get its moment in the sun, or at least under the hood. Now let's wade into some truly controversial territory water-powered cars, more specifically, HHO generators. The idea here is simple, maybe a little too simple. You take water, H2O, split it into its components, hydrogen and oxygen, and boom, you've got yourself a flammable fuel source. DIYers all over the internet claim to have built their own HHO generators, with videos showing bubbling contraptions, supposedly running cars on water. Sounds too good to be true? Well, it might be. The science behind splitting water, called electrolysis, is sound. But the energy needed to break those hydrogen-oxygen bonds is significant. In other words, you need more energy to split the water than you get back by burning the hydrogen. So while the concept of a water-powered car is intriguing, the reality is that HHO generators are more likely to be a supplemental fuel-saving device, rather than a primary power source. Speaking of splitting water, let's journey back in time to 1938. Picture this. A man named William C. Acker demonstrates an invention that seems straight out of a sci-fi novel, a solar photolysis water splitter. This ingenious device used the sun's energy to split water into hydrogen and oxygen. And get this, Acker claimed to have powered his entire house, using this system for a whole week. Imagine harnessing the power of the sun to create clean, renewable energy, all the way back in the 1930s. So what happened to this revolutionary technology? Well, that's where the story gets a little murky. Some speculate that Acker's invention was suppressed by powerful interests threatened by the potential of free energy. Whether or not that's true, the story of the solar photolysis water splitter serves as a reminder that groundbreaking inventions don't always get the attention they deserve, especially if they threaten the status quo. Now let's fast forward to the 21st century and travel to Russia, where a scientist named Larionov developed a fascinating device, a waste oil water-splitting heater. This ingenious contraption used waste oil, a readily available and often problematic byproduct, to generate heat and split water into hydrogen and oxygen. The beauty of this invention lies in its simplicity and practicality. By utilizing a readily available waste product, Larionov's heater offered a cost-effective and environmentally friendly way to generate both heat and potentially usable hydrogen fuel. Imagine the possibilities if this technology were widely adopted. Industrial spaces could be heated using waste products, reducing both energy costs and environmental impact. And who knows, maybe with further development, this technology could even be scaled up for more widespread energy production. While the waste oil water-splitting heater might not be a household name, it's a testament to the ingenuity of inventors who dare to think outside the box and find innovative solutions to real-world problems. Next up, let's talk about an engine that literally runs on air, the compressed air engine. Now I know what you're thinking, Air. How can something as intangible as air power a car? Well, it's all about harnessing the power of compressed air. Think of it like a balloon. When you inflate a balloon, you're compressing air inside. Release the opening, and that compressed air rushes out, creating a force. Now imagine scaling that up significantly, using powerful compressors and specially designed engines. In fact, there have been several working prototypes of compressed air vehicles, from small city cars to even buses. And get this, there's even a homemade air-powered dragster that can hit some pretty impressive speeds. So, why aren't we all driving around in whisper-quiet, emission-free compressed air cars? Well, like many innovations on our list, it faces challenges, limited range compared to gasoline cars, and the need for infrastructure to compress and store the air. Still, the potential of compressed air as a clean and sustainable fuel source is undeniable. Remember those compressed air cars we just talked about? Well, one company took that concept a step further and actually put one into production. Tata Motors, an Indian automaker, introduced the air car back in 2008. This compact city car was designed to run primarily on compressed air, stored in tanks beneath the car. While it does have a small gasoline engine to extend its range, the air car was marketed as a clean and affordable alternative to traditional gasoline-powered vehicles. Imagine zipping around town in a car that emits nothing but air. Plus, the air car was designed to be refilled at compressed air stations, much like you fill up your tires or even from a home compressor. So, where are all the Tata air cars? Well, despite the initial buzz and promises of a revolution in transportation, the air car faced several roadblocks. Limited range, slow refueling times, and the lack of widespread compressed air infrastructure all contributed to its limited success. Next, let's take a trip back in time to an era when gasoline was scarce and, honestly, ingenuity was abundant. the era of the wood gas car. You heard that right, cars powered by wood. It might sound like something out of a steampunk novel, but during World War II, when gasoline was rationed, wood gas cars were a surprisingly common sight. The concept is surprisingly simple. Wood is burned in a restricted oxygen environment, producing a flammable gas that can power an internal combustion engine. Imagine fueling your car with nothing but wood scraps, something that's readily available and renewable. While the wood gas car might seem like a relic of the past, it's really a testament to human ingenuity and adaptability. And who knows, in a world facing climate change and resource depletion, maybe the wood gas car might just make a surprising comeback. Now let's talk about an engine that seems like it's straight out of a science fiction movie, the magnetic engine. Imagine a motor powered not by explosions or fuel, but by the invisible forces of magnetism. That's the idea behind the magnetic engine, and it's not as far-fetched as it sounds. One fascinating example comes from Japan, where a company called Suma developed a magnetic engine motorcycle using technology invented by Mike Brady. This motorcycle is said to be incredibly efficient, utilizing the repelling and attracting forces of magnets to create motion. While still in its early stages, the concept of a magnetic engine is incredibly intriguing. Imagine a world where vehicles are powered by clean, silent, and potentially limitless energy from magnets. Let's dive into a topic that's shrouded in controversy and intrigue: cold fusion. Imagine a world where energy is abundant, clean, and generated from a process that seems almost too good to be true. That's the promise of cold fusion, a type of nuclear reaction that supposedly occurs at or near room temperature. The story of cold fusion is a roller coaster ride of excitement, skepticism, and alleged suppression. It all started back in 1989 when two scientists, Stanley Pons and Martin Fleischmann, claimed to have achieved cold fusion in a tabletop experiment. Their announcement sent shockwaves through the scientific community, but those shockwaves quickly turned into waves of doubt as other researchers struggled to replicate their results. Despite the skepticism, a small but dedicated group of scientists continued to pursue cold fusion research. And over the years, there have been tantalizing hints and anecdotal evidence suggesting that there might be something to it. Whether or not cold fusion ever becomes a viable energy source remains to be seen. But the story itself raises important questions about the nature of scientific progress, the role of skepticism, and the possibility that some discoveries might be just a little too disruptive for their own good. As we've journeyed through the world of banned engines and suppressed technologies, one unsettling theme emerges: the mysterious deaths and disappearances of brilliant minds working on breakthrough energy solutions. One such case is that of Dr. Don Wiley, a renowned molecular biologist found dead under suspicious circumstances in 2001. Dr. Wiley was working on groundbreaking research involving viruses, and some believe his work could have led to revolutionary advancements in energy production. Then there's the story of Eugene Malov, a staunch advocate for cold fusion research who was found murdered in 2005. The circumstances surrounding his death remain shrouded in mystery, leaving many to wonder if he was silenced for his relentless pursuit of alternative energy. These are just a few examples in a long and troubling list of scientists, inventors, and researchers who met untimely ends while working on technologies that could disrupt the status quo. The pattern is undeniable. Whenever a breakthrough technology emerges that threatens the dominance of fossil fuels or challenges the established energy industry, a shadowy force seems to step in, silencing those who dare to dream of a different energy future. So, there you have it. A glimpse into the world of banned engines, suppressed technologies, and the stories behind them. From reimagined combustion engines to the mind-bending realm of cold fusion, we've seen that the quest for alternative energy is filled with both incredible promise and unsettling obstacles. The question is, can we speed up the process of making these technologies available? The stories of these engines, these inventors, they paint a picture of a future that could be cleaner, more sustainable, more efficient. But they also highlight the forces that often stand in the way of progress. Yes, if we unite in the search for truth, and of course if we share this video with friends, let's spark a conversation, raise awareness, and maybe, just maybe together we can push for a future where innovation isn't suppressed, but celebrated.